fire up the Futures Fanatic live stream for our first stream of 2026. New year, same stuff. New highs, buy the dip, tater chip. Before we get started, just want to remind everybody that the broadcast today is for educational purposes only. The opinions expressed are those of the presenter. That's going to be me on the mic the whole time. All trades presented should be considered hypothetical and should not be expected to be replicated in a live trading account. Make sure you read that whole risk disclosure and disclaimer. You can pause the video at any time if you want to spend more time on it, especially the don't eat yellow snows, looks both ways, of course, crossing the street. You know that's important. All right. And then also if you can put a 1 in there for picture and sound, that would be great. I am starting the session long gold and then short the indices here, which has not been fun. So short the NASDAQ, short the MES, and of course, short the Dow Jones, which has been absolutely brutal, but I've managed to get out of almost all of it down here, and then now got some decent prices that I should be able to manage here. Man, with what the semis are doing today, it is wackadoo. I traded SanDisk back in the mid-90s when I was at Merrill Lynch, and now to see all these storage and components companies just absolutely crushing, pretty wild. So, good. Thank you for picture and sound. So I'll hang out here on the gold chart, and then if anything interesting happens on the stock indices, I'll look at those as well. But again, we are all basically outside day up. Those that are familiar with what we do at TDG, that means that we're trading outside of the prior session's range, which is generally not a time in which you want to be short anything. But given this substantial sort of two-day move, especially in the Dow, potentially can find a top here and get a little bit of this back. But again, hope is not a strategy. We'll see what ends up happening. The thing that's been challenging about the Dow today, which was similar to what it did yesterday, was we didn't really get any opportunities to get long either. I mean, there was very few. You were either in the initial move or you were out of it, right? And then fighting the strength if you were looking to fade on the short side. Gold today has been the opposite. It's provided some decent two-way action and opportunities to get long on pullbacks for a move back over 4,500. So that's what I'm looking for there on the gold. Okay, what do we got here? Prop shop. Yeah, so on the prop shop stuff, I'm going to be recording an actual video for YouTube. I might put it on YouTube, or I might just send it out to my list. So if you're not a member of my community or on my list, make sure you do grab this ebook. There's plenty of ways in which you can, offer your email. We don't spam you. We just send you stuff of value. We do ask you to, of course, see if you want to join our trading group, but that's about it. Then everything else is just stuff that you can get for free, up your trading game in 2026. Anyhow, I'm going to be recording some thoughts on it. Overall, I think it pretty much sucks how many changes happened there in a very short period of time. It really sucks given the fact that I'm an investor in parts of that entity, the holding company, but I'm not a large enough investor to have much of an impact. And most of my suggestions went. The number one suggestion I had was please don't launch with more than 10 accounts. And they launched with 20 accounts. I said, please don't launch with big accounts. They launched with big accounts. And I said, none of that is going to go particularly well. Now, hence all those particular changes. Now, this one is actually good for a large audience, but probably not many people that are listening to me here in the US that have plenty of different opportunities to trade different futures firms. So I'll get into it a little bit more. It really depends on what you're looking to do. Like if you want to continue to sim farm, which is what I teach and train on here, sim farm just meaning use firms like Apex, use firms like Take Profit Trader, use firms like Top Step. They'll let you sim farm for a little while as well. There's plenty of others. There's Legends, there's Lucent, there's Bullinox. There's just so much choice. So the fact that all these changes have happened to prop shop that quickly sort of sucks, but there is a silver lining on it, which is that for those that really do want to potentially trade equities, like I don't have any need to trade equities. I'm fortunate to have a lot of money. I don't need a prop firm for equities. Well, then why do you do a prop firm for futures? Well, because they let you spend a little bit of money and get access to a sim account that they'll pay you on. Why wouldn't anybody do that if you have this skill set, right? So for all the haters out there, you're just silly. I mean, but no, I do it mostly because it's a great opportunity to teach and train people how to properly manage risk. And as soon as you can manage a small account and use a copier, then you can turn small gains into large gains by using leverage across accounts. Stocks are pretty capital inefficient. And if you're going to look to trade prop with stocks, you probably want to have $50,000 of your own money, and then you could go to an S&P Capital or a T3 or a couple other firms, and you can get all the leverage that you need to trade those stocks appropriately. So back to Prop Shop, they're going to probably be the only ones out there that will eventually allow you to do CFDs if you're outside the US, then stocks anywhere, and then also futures. So, given the fact that there's so much futures choice now, I don't think it's really that much of an impact. If you're only going to be a futures trader, just move on. I wouldn't probably use them. But if you are interested in figuring out how to be a multi-asset trader eventually, if that's something that's important to you, then I think they might be part of your repertoire. So that's my take on that. But I'll go into it in more detail more detail in the overview that I do. All right, here goes gold. So maybe get a little move on the upside for gold. I have it in a number of accounts here. Let me see if I can keep track of everything that I need to do. Yeah, oh, in this account I have a 2-lot on, so let me just hit it for one right here.
Order filled.
Anyone long gold? This is an example of switching it up. In other words, typically if you're first time ever watching my stream or anything, I'm going to be teaching mostly mean reversion style stuff. But the whole idea behind trading is to be adaptive. And if you see opportunities to trend trade, if you will, or buy little pullbacks in a strong market like what we're seeing in gold, you can do that as well. The nice thing about that too is that gold is not going to get you in any trouble with any sort of hedging or correlated instruments. You don't have to worry about any of that. You can be short the Dow, short the NASDAQ, short the S&P, and still long gold or do whatever you want with gold. So anyway, hope everyone had a good holiday season and spent most of the time away from the charts. It was kind of a weird one where the holidays fell kind of in the middle of the month, and then the market will tend to do that which confuses the most amount of people. So on Friday, the first trading day of the month, Jan 2nd, we sold off a little bit. They flushed all the suckers, and then there's been nothing but straight up, especially in something like the Dow. The Dow is almost 1,400 points lower on just Friday. So my first song of this year, what a difference a day makes, 24 little hours. All right, quick look at Bitcoin. I am long Bitcoin over here.
Order filled.
So long Bitcoin as well. And I'm just going to leave that piece on and look for a move higher. Still long gold here. These will be targets.
Order submitted.
Targets. Use some targets. Other things to mention for those that are into or like the flexibility that you get from having a lot of accounts at a firm like Apex. If you want a lot of accounts, their sale does end today. I don't even remember all the details, but it's $90, it's 90% off of just about every account size. And they did extend the period in which you get a lower cost activation fee. So go ahead and do your homework if you are interested in getting that and you want to support my channel or what I do. It's TDG Fanatic. That's TDG Fanatic, all in caps. Probably should make it easier and just have it be TDG. TDG might work. I don't know if anyone knows if TDG works, but anyway, there you go. TDG Fanatic, and you can get as many accounts as you want, provided that you haven't been banned and they still let you buy accounts. What I did was did the 50s and passed all of those, and so now I have 150s, 100s, 50s, and enough to be dangerous over at Apex again. And all I do at Apex is just use them mostly for my room. But the other firms I'm trading are the Futures Desk, Legends, Blue Sky, My Funded Futures, Take Profit, Tradeify, Trade Day, and then little tests with Aqua Futures, what's the heck's this other one we got going on? YRM, and Aqua Futures. Is that not enough? Are you not entertained? So given all that, oh, and I still do have the first. Let me see, top right. So there you go. There's Tickblaze with the very first accounts that I ever bought. So I'm going to confirm today how long you can stay on these warriors. My situation's very different. I get that some bunch of people are pissed off. I heard from a bunch of people that still have 10 accounts. So congratulations if you still have 10 accounts. I mean, the goal, I think the idea was you just email them and figure out what they're going to do to do you right, and hope they do most people right. We were calculating roughly our community, and these are just self-reporting. I wish more people would report, but our community took about 200,000-ish out of Prop Shop, which isn't bad. So they did almost $5 million worth of payouts before all these changes. And then they have this kind of silly bonusy thing. So if you're not familiar with anything I'm talking about, Prop Shop is a prop firm that I've promoted pretty heavily, and I trade every day using Tickblaze, the platform that you're seeing right there. Definitely some advantages to both. And of course, like everything, pros and cons, weigh all your options, yada, yada. All right, let me take you back to the main screen here where we're just looking at gold. In terms of trading live at prop, I think the most that's allowed anywhere is at Take Profit, which is 5. But I think they're even going to have to consolidate that back down to 3. So it's 3 is pretty standard. You're not going to be able to trade more than 3 truly live accounts at any one of these firms. Now you can have 2 or 3 at a lot of them, and then you can, instead of sim farm, you can live farm, right? Keep your costs under $1,000 or so, maybe even less, to get access to all this capital and build yourself a little business in 2026. All right. A little boring. Nothing happening, nothing moving. Just see what happens with gold here. Did I ever open a Phoenix account? No, I didn't do any. I didn't open a Phoenix account. Once I decided that I probably wasn't going to be doing anything with Thor, which I had another trading partner that tested it a little bit more and actually liked it for what he was doing. His use case was a little different. So in 2026 on the copier front, I'm just pretty much affordable indicators and Replicanto for Ninja. If you're trading Top Step, and I still do have 5 accounts at Top Step, the copier on Project X is fantastic. I'm going to be doing a video on alternatives to Project X, since that's going away for every firm except for Top Step. So some of the, obviously I think everyone knows about TradingView and Trade as decent web-based alternatives. Of course, really good web-based alternatives to Top Step X. But if you want to stay in the world of TradingView and have it kind of look like TradingView, I'm going to be talking to these guys pretty soon. Anyone seen this firm? What a weird name, huh? Trading Things. I've been trading professionally since my only source of income since 2010, and then traded my whole life. but been a full-time professional trader in the futures market since 2010, and then started trading back in 1994, 97. You've heard me tell this story before, maybe you haven't. And by the way, you can connect to this via Rhythmic. So maybe check out this Trading Things. I'll have a partnership with them where you can get some cooler stuff from them. So as I often say, maybe wait, but I'm trying to turn you on to stuff. Anyhow, I've never seen things move so quickly. Maybe it's because I'm getting old and time seems to pass really, really quickly, but I like to think I'm on top of it, and all of a sudden I'll hear about some new firm. Like I just got the Trading Things folks I heard about I got a call from a guy, and he said, okay, talk to this is in no way, shape, or form. I got to figure out how I want to say this. I have chosen to not do that much with trading firms, brokers, or businesses in Abu Dhabi or the Middle East for a variety of reasons. Okay. It's not a regional thing. There's reasons for that. But anyway, lots of stuff is coming out of that area. I'm sure you're aware that in Dubai and in Saudi, they are doing everything they can to, of course, replace their oil income, and they're looking to create sort of a Silicon Valley desert out there and all that good stuff. Anyhow, got a call, talk to these guys. They're setting up a huge infrastructure for futures and everything else. They already do FX CFD. They're market makers on all kinds of exchanges in Europe. So real deal, real deep pockets. There's just so much money in this game. Anyway, they're like, oh yeah, we have Trading Things for Rhythmic. I'm like, did the guy just say Trading Things? I was like, I thought I misheard him. He had a kind of a thick accent. And I said, you guys have a lot of money. What is Trading Things? And then I go and look, and this thing is pretty unbelievable. I mean, go look at the tradingthings.io website. It's pretty cool. Neat things going on all over the place. All right, Rod, I emailed you this morning. I have 10 accounts of them with large balances and just feel awful that I won't get that money. What payouts have you gotten already from them? How do you know you're not going to? What have you emailed them, and what did they say they're going to do? I mean, I can't. Trading Things, yes. Trading Things is worst name since Lilu. Anyway, I can't. So Victor 2X, I don't know. Send them an email and see what they'll do with those balances. This was not a rug pull to pull everyone's balances. No one's balances have changed. I don't know the situation. There's so many. I got all these nasty grants. I have not only that. I have $300,000 accounts, and what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And then I went back and listened to the replay yesterday, and I was like, what is everyone on about? Just email them, and they'll tell you. Now, if they end up really, really removing balances or anything, but I heard nothing about them removing balances. They have to phase out certain things. So that's it. So figure out what's happening. And by the way, I'm not defending them or any. These changes are happening all over the place. They're happening pretty quickly. Some insight I can give you is that they're getting ahead of, let me just put it this way. If you're at a firm that used to be FXCFD, you know the names, right? And they got into futures, they're going to have trouble continuing to operate in futures in the U.S. if they don't make some changes overall to their business. So just keep that in mind. Next Gen. Yeah, Next Gen went belly up, and I never heard from the guy again. So there's another one. I've had, of all the firms that I've interviewed or done, I never did anything with, what was that idiot scumbag asshole? Can't remember his name. But fast track trading, right? Never got involved with that. Knew that was problematic from the very, very get-go from when I spoke to his business partner. But didn't avoid the profit trade, didn't avoid the Next Gen. So I'm not sure what happened. They just so it says if you don't pass your warriors, they will disappear. Yeah, if you blow them up. I'm trying to figure out what the date is on them because I just want to keep them forever and never pass them. They're not going to let me do that, but I've had them since the whole thing started. So my situation is a little bit different, but this might incent me to just pass them in the next couple days, which I can do. I have the skill set to do that. I'll just throw on a few minis and pass them, and then convert them and get on their little bandwagon or whatever that is. So they say it's in review for payout. Okay, well, I mean, I guess the key is to get your last payouts, right? And then don't you carry your balance? You get your last payouts, and then you carry your balance forward, and you just have to meet those. By the way, the objectives. I don't want to spend too much time on Prop Shop today. Maybe I'll do a Prop Shop stream only tomorrow once I get more of the details when I speak to them today. I just want to ask my own questions too. The date is today. They will go away at next rebill. They just go away? Oh, it's by an Indian tech company. Okay, cool. All right. I would like the Dow Jones to put on another 150 so it can be up 700 or 800 2 days in a row. What are the top 3 most popular firms TDG traders get payouts from? It seems to be Prop Shop was in there for a while. And in 2026, I'm going to be reaching out to about 50 traders in our group that I know don't post or do much anymore, but that could be very inspirational to help people see what's really possible by trading micros and building accounts slowly and doing the right thing. But let me take you to the payout channel. I think it's still like Apex, and it's a little bit of everything. It's all the ones that you'd expect. I know there's people trading at Lucid and some of the others. I haven't seen payouts from those. So here's Apex. I don't know what this one is. Not clear. There's Prop Shop. Here's me just taking a payout on a live account. I started at 7,500. I grew up to almost 10,000. I mean, excuse me, almost 9,000. Took 8,600. Took 1,500 out of it right here. There's Apex. There's Bullinox. There's Prop Shop. I think this is Take Profit. There's Bullinox. There's Apex. So the usual suspects. Yeah, I messed around with Dow as well. Here it is. This will be just pure luck if I can kind of break even on these last parts. I'm going to take this off here and then resell the plus twos.
Order submitted.
So one of the things that I show here on these brick wicks that's useful if you use this type of bar is looking at just sort of measured moves. Now, we've had a little bit of stair step down, but you just sort of take these little measured moves and take them every time. If you're fading strength, don't look for huge extended targets, okay? Important little teaching here, right? Take inventory off and campaign around these shorts. This is not we're outside day up for the NASDAQ as well, right? I think. Yeah, way outside day up NASDAQ, outside day up S&P, outside day up Dow Jones. So it's a time to take every little thing it gives you.
Order submitted.
Okay? And then just stay on the gold chart since that feels more feels better. Please remind me not to mess around with MYM during all-time highs. Yeah, I hear you. Did a great Trader Talk Tuesday today with a trader. His name was Andrew. He's based in the UK. And he was mentioning yesterday that he managed to be short on the Dow Jones for almost 450 point move to the upside and only end up losing 30 bucks. Okay. So I'm not suggesting that was the easy path yesterday, but as I mentioned today, also the Dow Jones really hasn't given you a whole lot of chances to get long. If you're already long and you've been strong and you've made a bunch of money on this kind of breakout to new highs, that's great. But what I'm here to tell you is that if you're trading prop accounts or you're trading any account with less than 25 or 30,000 of real dollars, you're not capitalized to trade minis. And if you're not capitalized to trade minis, you're not capitalized to trade more than one mini. And if you can't trade more than one contract in whatever you're trading, you're going to have trouble. You need to learn how to manage risk and campaign around certain prices. This is true even if you're doing some trend trading and you pull back to a moving average or, God forbid, a trend line or whatever you happen to be using. You need to give yourself some wiggle room on that trade to work around that particular level and price. And of course, ultimately, if it fails or if it breaks a particular level, you just get out. You know, you don't have to have these super tight or big stops or anything like that. You just learn to look at volatility and volume, which is what I teach in my TDG ProTrader Room. Volatility is measured by the 7-day ATR, okay? Not looking at the VIX. The VIX is meaningless for what we do. We're just looking at the 7-day ATR, which is the expected range over the course of a 23-hour period, and then judging what we want to do based on that and how much of that range has taken place, and then what we want to do with these lines. You do not have to be a mean reversion trader to have success in what I'm talking about. You could apply all these same things and choose to trend trade. But mean reversion is going to, more often than not, put you in positions where you can manage the loss associated with a trade. I know that sounds crazy. Why do I want to manage losses? Well, once you learn how to manage losses because they're not that significant, now everything goes out the window if the Dow goes up 1,500 points in 2 days and you're fading that strength. You're going to have trouble. But one rule you can use to avoid that is when we're outside the prior session's high, you're just not short. So someone said, remind me not to short the Dow at all-time highs. It would be more, remind you again and again, just do not be fading strength when you're outside the prior session's range. Okay? The opposite is true on the downside. It's actually some of the best days will be when you actually do stay in the game long enough on big sell-offs, outside day downs, to catch moves to the downside. Because the market has positive skew. There's V-bottoms all over the charts since 2008. You don't have to look very, even on higher time frames, the V-bottoms are just substantial. And by higher time frames, I mean even on weekly or monthly charts when we actually do get sell-offs. All right. You're on next Tuesday? All right. Trader in development. You might be, do you live in Mexico? Hola. You might be, I don't think, no, definitely spoke to Francisca Francisca was in Brazil, I think. I can't remember. Or definitely spoken to some Puerto Ricans. All right. All I can say is go Bitcoin. Bitcoin coming off the bottom. Bitcoin coming off the bottom. Look at that. 60 bucks there too. Gold and Bitcoin and everything moving up. Well, we're moving on up to the east side to a deluxe apartment in the sky. Moving on up. They'll go away at the next rebel. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, I'll figure that. I already think I commented on that. So. There goes the Dow. I've shown this before in my room many times, but if you're a user of Ninja and you don't know this, it's a cool little thing. If you want to attach an order to an indicator or to a level, you put the order somewhere around where you want to do that. In this case, I want to attach it to this red line here, which is 2 standard deviations above VWAP. So you put it kind of close, put a sell limit kind of close. Then you're just going to put your cursor over it, hit the control button, left click, and then says attach. And it will, you can look what it's suggesting. It's suggesting to attach it to standard deviation upper band V2. You guys see that? Upper band 2. And then you say okay. And then now it's attached there. Now I don't have to look at it. Now, please know that if you're using a copier, whether it's your lead account or not your lead account, you can end up having trouble if you're canceling and replacing a bunch of orders. So don't do that if you're using a copier, but if it's just an independent account, it should be able to handle it depending on the horsepower of your machine. So we call outside day up or down. So it could be, if it's outside up, it's price trading above the prior session high. So here it's easier to look at it right here, right? By the way, the extreme turn sell is not getting you done today. Yesterday, we had almost the same look. And then as soon as the condition came off, we fell about 200 points. Today, that's not the case. The condition is gone and the market is continuing to move higher. But the outside day up is designated by as soon as price is above this line right here, above the prior session high. Does that make sense? That's what an outside day up is. Now here is the prior session low, way down here. If price was trading below this, we would call it outside day down. So this is an outside up. And essentially, the rule you can make for yourself is as soon as price goes outside of the prior session high, you're just not involved shorting anymore. The only retracement we got was on this candle here before it actually touched. We didn't really get any retracement after it finally hit 49,470-ish. And then I had this made up level of 49,500. And thankfully I wasn't really involved in it with the exception to just a few accounts. Go gold. So the question about everything that I do and teach on is extended trading hours. Here's the beauty of trading futures, right? Is we have 23 hours of data, right? With crypto, you have 24 hours of data, right? Market doesn't close. You have 23 hours of data with crypto futures, 5 days a week, right? So I don't use the regular trading hours for anything other than to say the best time to trade stock indices is the New York Open for about an hour before and about an hour after. And I've said this in other clips that they've done here on my channel. But what you want to do is take the entire 23-hour range. Remember, the market is going to reopen again at 6 p.m. Eastern, right? After it's closed for an hour. From 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. it will be closed. These volatility bands that you're looking at will be scrunched up and look like, nothing. Like if we go back, hold on, right? If we go back to the open, right? Look at this. See? This is nothing all night, right? And then sometimes you'll come in and they still haven't really opened up or done much. And we're measuring this not based on this chart, but we're looking at what percentage of the 7-day ATR have we seen? By the way, this is all taught for free on my YouTube channel. You can get access to all this stuff for free. Go gold. Go gold. So what you want to do is take advantage of all of the additional data that you have in the overnight session, which is one of the reasons that I say, you know, anybody that tells you that something quote unquote works on any market in any time frame and any time period, that's just run. Absolutely run, right? Because the only things that matter in trading is volatility and volume. If you have neither, which is all these numbnuts that I see that, you know, I get on YouTube and I'm working here at my desk at night, and this is like, I don't know, 6 or 7 my time, so 10 p.m. on the East Coast or whatever, and I'll get on YouTube because I'm going to look something up, and there's like 30 people streaming. I'm like, what are they streaming? And I go on there and they're trading gold and the NASDAQ at like 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when you have no volume and no volatility. Right? So the guy at Top Step calls it slow markets or whatever. Now, don't get me wrong. Good time to shoot the shit, maybe educate and teach since nothing's happening in the markets. Bad time to be resting any orders. I mean, just no, don't do that. But use all that overnight data to then decide what we want to do once the market starts to open up and we get the original reactions and the positioning and stuff once the bands start to open up. S&P just farting around. Let's just put in our order here.
Order submitted.
NASDAQ farting around. Remember, the NASDAQ, I have this order
submitted.
attached to the line, so I can't really screw it up. And then the Dow, can we get a brick reversal? And then gold's working out well. Right, I get what BM's mentioning. There are other terms where you'll hear that when it applies to a candle, like an outside month or an outside day, things like that. When the candle opens and closes outside of the prior range, I'm just referring to just whatever the 23-hour high was and low for the prior session. And also what we do, another key thing. Look, there's a lot of people that are starting to teach and show volume profile, which is great. I love when anyone's looking at a volume histogram, but please don't go crazy with initial balance and the prior open and the prior close and all those. That doesn't matter. Prior high, prior close matter. Excuse me, prior high, prior low. The prior close, fine, whatever. You take the pick close or all those kinds of things. But what you do want to look at is the prior session's POC. The prior session's POC. Okay, this is important. You don't have to go back much more than that. Look, we're just day traders, right? So the prior POC, so on the range trader, the levels to consider are this line right here, which is T line. It's a 233 EMA. It's just a quick way of establishing trend. So what we would describe this, and anybody who's in my room or spends any time in what we're doing, we quickly can just describe what we're looking at here, which is a bull continuation pattern, meaning all trades are taking place above a 233. Why 233? Because I told you so. A 233 EMA. Okay. So this is a 233 EMA. Price is trading above it. We're in a bull continuation pattern. Does that mean you only take longs? No. It's just a quick way of describing what's happening in the market. Okay. Now we're outside the prior session's high. We were talking about this. So this is a bull continuation pattern outside day up. That's how we quickly describe what's happening in the Dow right now. Then other than the prior session high and the prior session low and T-line, the only other levels that you're concerned with is developing POC and prior POC. You can sometimes do a little something with the value areas, but I generally don't call them up or do much with them. And I'm using a 78% profile, not a 70% profile. So prior POC, prior low, T-line, prior high, that's what you care about, right? So that's a little lesson on the range trader. And the two strategies are meant to be used interchangeably. Yeah, we have 3 minutes until market on close orders. All right, Dow, come on down a little bit. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Got a 1 lot on here.
Order submitted.
Come on, Dow. Help a brother out. If it's your first time joining the stream, or if you're welcome coming back, I really appreciate it. I'm going to be streaming Tuesday through Thursday from noon till 1. That's here on the left coast in Las Vegas time, just for your own time zone. If things start to really get going, I might do a stream 5 days a week. I'm thinking about doing a stream 5 days a week, but there's some considerations to that. But it does really help the YouTube algorithm. You know all the drill. Please do like the video if you find value from this. There's a lot of nonsense out there. I do my own, lots of different voices. Find the one that you like. Oh, great question. So when do we sort of take our measurements? We take our measurements right around 8:30 Eastern Standard Time in the morning. Now, you could do it a little earlier, a little later, but we try to do it at that 8:30 because there'll be some significant economic news sometimes right at that. So after that candle prints and you get some sort of reaction to, so we use the 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. So we're going to do 8:30. All right, there we go. How can they possibly sell anything? All they want to do is buy, right? Rip us up to some new highs. Come on, gold, hit target. So we're going to take a look at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, and that's when we're going to say, okay, where's the market trading? Are we inside or outside? And then also that's when we're going to say how much percentage of our range has happened. Let me take you inside my trade room real quick. I don't think there'll be anybody in here, but I'll take you inside. Let me do this. Okay.
Still
Now,
much to learn, you have.
Okay, so in the trade room here, this is the software that we use. Okay, if I scroll, it's going to take me a long time to scroll all the way up, but let me scroll all the way up to the top. I think there's a... People blab too much. Okay, here we go. All right, so this is the pre-market checklist that you get access to when you're in the trade room. And I've gone through this before in the past. I'll go through it really, really quick. So we'll just look at it on the Dow Jones, for instance. So first thing he'll say is the time of day in which he takes the timestamp. So this is 7 Central Standard Time, so that would be 5. We used to do it at 7:30. It looks like he's doing it at 7, okay? The price at that time, the ATR, which is the 7-day ATR, the range, and then you get a percentage of that, right? Which is 35%, 47% range in the gold market, 50%, 47 and 47. That's weird. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. But anyway, and then the rest of what we talked about, inside or outside day, what the trend is, the rule of projection highs and lows, which I haven't talked about, the previous point of control, which we talked about. So all of it's right here on the checklist, as well as a little legend that you get to use. And that's all posted inside the trade room. The very first post of the day, it's going to be right up there inside the trade room. So that's a good question.
Order filled.
All right, I'm really looking to
Order filled.
just get out of this stuff here. I'm down about $200 in that account, so I don't need to. It'll end up being down less than that as soon as I close out this gold trade, assuming that it stays profitable.
Order filled.
All right, suck it, Dow. Here we go. Can we break this? Can we break this little swing? Can we break the swing? Is what posted on Discord? Oh, the pre-market checklist is not posted in Discord every day. It's posted in the trade room. I'm not using an anchored VWAP. I'm using the order flow VWAP on Ninja or the standard deviation bands that are available on TradingView. All right, I'm going to try to
Order filled.
lower my losses there too.
Order submitted.
I mean, this is silly up here. Nothing's happening, but remember, I've had this order attached on the NASDAQ at 25,842, and we have not got a fill there yet. Let's see if we can. There's really no reason to look for any other VWAP anymore, since you can get it practically for free from, there's about 5 or 6 prop firms now that use what's called Trade Prop. You just have to ask them if they use Trade Prop. If they use Trade Prop and you buy a prop program from them, you can go in and activate the VWAP bands for free. So come on, gold. Gold's going to bail me out today. All right, anyway, you do the whole thing. Like, subscribe, turn on the bell notifications. You know all that kind of stuff. Share it if you end up finding it useful. You could share it with another trading buddy. And then I'm going to do a lot of the things this year that you all love. So I'm going to get some free accounts from a bunch of firms, and I'll do some giveaways. So we got that whole giveaway thing going on. Little giveaway action. We all love that. Different firms.
Order filled.
Okay, I'm just scaling out of this at small losses. I'm going to scale out here. I have the same position with a
Order filled. Order filled.
put that order up there. Go, gold. So if we look here, finally, I mean, this is such a small retracement, but can you guys see, this is an indicator we call the extreme turn. I don't sell any indicators or courses or anything like that. They're all just included in membership. So this is
Order
one of the
filled.
indicators you get. It's a proprietary indicator, but you get it when you
Order
become a
filled.
member of TDG.
Order
And
filled.
when this condition comes off, by the way, I don't want
Order canceled.
a, when this condition comes off, that's when you actually look to short. So it's finally coming in a little bit. See how the condition's no longer there? I guess it was kind of here on this candle. So, but again, I'm not gonna root and get all excited about 30 or 40 points, but at least finally there's a little bit of give back to end the session. All right, one more minute and we'll call it.
Order filled. Order filled.
All right, just hanging out here at the tops. Hanging at the tops. So, Otter, issue of knowing when to trade the lines versus steep trends. Okay, so look at this crazy steep move here, right? So rather than, when you're first starting out, rather than complicate it and wonder whether you should be doing this, which is treacherous and not easy and not a great position to be in. Again, remember, there's no pullbacks to get long here. It didn't even come down. This is a 233 EMA 2 on this chart, but I don't use it for entries or exits or anything. It's used for some algo logic, which I don't really trade in here anymore. But you see this slope like this, okay? What did I say is the easiest way to just filter out and not worry about it? Don't trade it at all, because we're above this line. Okay, so as soon as you get above this line, just all right, you know what? It's a snow day. I'm done. Whether you had a trade on or not, maybe just close it out. Just don't be short outside day ups. Well, Rod, you're short up here. Yeah, I'm short. So what? It's not a good position. At some point, it has a probability of coming back, and it should be able for me to manage this up here since I'm short way up here when the extreme turn kind of came off. But for the most part, you don't have to second guess yourself or whatever. You just have to go, okay, I only do mean reversion trading when we're inside the prior session's range. When we're not, then I don't do it. Now, whether that means you switch to something else or you look at another market or whatever, I don't know. But just that's the easiest thing then to decide whether you should or shouldn't. There was a bunch of people on trial today, and they were talking about, well, I feel this, I feel that, or I'm not sure. Get rid of all that. No feelings. You don't have to have feelings related to this. You don't know. It's all random. You know, I would have, if someone told me that semiconductor stocks would be up 20% in 2026 and we're only 3 days into 2026, there are some semi stocks that are up 20%. The Dow's up almost 2.5%, and the wirehouse's S&P targets for this year are only 8.2%. Again, the Dow's not the S&P, but you know what I'm talking about. Anyhow, that'll be it for now. We're moving down. I'll just hold this position. for a little while longer. Let me see if I missed any questions. Why is standard bands, dev bands better than ATR? It's not better. They're two different things. So, all right, that'll be it. Again, if you could hit the like button, I'd really appreciate it. I'll be streaming tomorrow. We could also look at the description down below. We're keeping this special running because it's very popular. You can join my trading group for 90 days for $249. There's nothing to cancel. If you want to continue, we'll contact you. So there's no need to cancel or do anything like that. It's 90 days access to the trade room. That ends up being a little less than like $3 a day per trading day. Plus, you get lifetime access to our Discord and lifetime access to the extreme turn indicator for Tickblaze, NinjaTrader, and TradingView, and you get to keep that forever, plus a few other indicators and bonuses. So you can check that down below if you'd like to check that out. I'm committed to making this the best $249 you ever spend on your. The only reason to continue will be so that you can have the community and continue to grow and all that kind of stuff. But you should be able to, if you put in the work, get more value out of the next 90 days. So start right now. Check the link down below. Grab that deal. Okay. Come on in and trade with us in the morning. All the sessions are recorded. All right, that'll be it. Stay green. Trade like you mean it. Be good. Bye-bye.